Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Bente, and in this video we're going to be designing this beautiful sign up screen using Figma. So without wasting so much time, let's get started. This is pixels.com. You can download high quality images and use them for free. So for the sake of this tutorial, this is the image that I have already downloaded on my local machine. So here we are in Figma. Let's go ahead and create a new frame. So in Figma we have different categories of frames, but for the sake of this tutorial we are going to select the MacBook Pro frame. Let's go ahead and rename the frame. The next thing is I want us to split the screen into two. The first part of the screen is going to be the placeholder for the image, and the second part of the screen is going to be the wrapper for all the form elements. Let's go ahead and add a rectangle. Let's click and drag to add one. Let's make sure the width is 720 and the height is 900. Awesome. So let's add another one. Click and drag to add a new rectangle. The width is 720 and the height is 900. Let's change the background color of the second rectangle to be white. And for this one, for the first rectangle, we are going to change the fill from solid to image. Let's choose the image that we have already downloaded. So let's double click to add the image. Awesome. The next thing is to add the title, sign up for a new account. Let's bump up the font size from 16 to 34. Let's change the font weight to be semi-bold. So for the color of the font, let's use the color picker and choose the color of this paper. Okay, fantastic. So let's add the form elements. Let's make sure the width is 230 and the height is 55. Let's change the background to F2, F2, F2. Let's add a label, but actually before that let's add border radius of 4. Bring it down a little bit. Let's select this one and bring it down a little bit. Let's add a label. The first label should be first name. Let's reduce the font size to 16px, the font weight to be medium, and the color, let's give it a 353535. Fantastic. So let's align it properly. Okay, so we need to duplicate this one. Select the two, hold shift and alt, click and drag, and the margin between the two elements will be 30. So the second label should be last name. Let me select this one and then duplicate, click and drag below. The space between can be 20. Let's change this one. What is the, let's bring the label down, this one down one place. Okay, so let's increase the width of this one to be 490. Let's change the label. This should be email, and let's duplicate Command D to duplicate one more time, and actually let's add another one. Okay, let's rename this one from email to password, and the next one should be confirm password. So let's remove the label for this one, and then this should be the button. Let's change the background color of this input field or this rectangle to be FFA 703. Nice. Let's make sure the margin is 30px. 1 2 3 4. Cool. Let's add a text. Sign up. Let's change the font size to 18px. Let's change the font weight to be semi-bold and the color to be FFF. Let's select the text and the rectangle. Make sure to align it vertically and horizontally in the center. So the next thing is to add the social logins. But before that, let's add the text or sign up with as the text. Let's change the color. Let's select this color and use this one. Great. So I'm gonna add, actually before that, let's make sure this is aligned in the center. Let me click and drag to select everything, and then hold shift to deselect the background, and click and drag to make sure it is aligned perfectly in the center of the card. Oops. Awesome. So for the sign up title, let's make sure it is aligned, perfectly with the rest of the other elements. So for the margin between the two elements, the sign up and the form elements, I want it to be 30. I want it to be 30, So let's select again. Deselect the background and then bring it up a little bit for space so we can add the other elements. So let's change the font weight of this one to be medium. That's fine. Let's add another rectangle for the social login. The width should be 230 and the height should be 55. Let's add radius 4. Let's duplicate for the other one. Okay, let's make sure the background colors are white. FFF. Let's add shadows on the buttons. So let's click on effects and then click on this icon. So for the x-axis, I'm going to leave it to 0. The y-axis, I'm going to change it to 1. The blur, I'm going to give it 10. And for the spread, I'm going to give it 3. So for the color, I'm going to put 8C, 8C, 8C. And then the opacity, I'm going to put 10. Fantastic. So let's download, or let's add the icons. So I have already installed a plugin called Iconify. You can install it for free. You can get almost all icons you want in your design. So we are gonna need the Facebook icon. Let's add this one, and then let's add this one as well, so we can select the color of the Facebook icon. Let's search for Google to add the icon for Google. Let's select this one. I like this one. Okay, let's close the Iconify model. Now let's click and drag to add the Google icon. Oops, I don't want it to rotate. Okay, looks about right. So let's add the text to be Google. Let's select the text and give it a font weight of semi-bold, and the color, I'm going to use the same color as this one. Copy and paste. I'm going to make sure the margin between the two is 15. Let me align it vertically in the center or in the middle. Let's group it by hitting Command G to group it. Select the rectangle and make sure it is perfectly aligned in the center. So the next icon is the Facebook icon. So here we have the Facebook icon. Let's click and drag to add it. Let's make sure the color of the icon, let's change it to this icon, and this is not, we don't need this anymore. Let's go ahead and delete this. So let's increase the width and height of this icon. Yeah, this looks good to me. Let's add the text. Facebook, and change the color. Use the same color as this one. Copy and then paste. Let me click and drag to make sure the space between the two elements is 15. Okay, there we go. So let's click the two and then Command G to group it. Select the rectangle and then align it vertically and horizontally in the center. So the last thing is to add the text for users who already have an account. Sign in. So let me change the font size to be 16 and then select this part of the text and give it a font weight of regular, and the color should be 747576. And for this one, for the sign in text, I'm going to use the same color as the button. Fantastic. So for the margin between the elements, I'm going to make sure the margin between these two is 30, and below should also be 30. Let's select this, guys, and make sure it is 30. Okay, so for the margin between the buttons and the text, let's make sure this is 40. Let's bring it down using the down arrow key to bring it down. Okay, so in order to align it perfectly in the center of the card, I'm gonna click and drag to select everything, deselect the background by holding Shift and click, then click and drag to make sure it is perfectly aligned in the center. Fantastic. So that's it, guys, for this video. Please like the video if you like it and subscribe to my channel for more videos every single week. See you in the next one. Peace.